Hey guys, this is Luis from PhoneArena and I hope you are in the mood for big screens today because we're going to talk about the Samsung Galaxy Note 3 and the Samsung Galaxy Note 4. Now, the Galaxy Note 3 is one of the finest smartphones that we remember from last year, and the Galaxy Note 4 is supposed to be every bit as great. However, the competition in the phablet space, such as the iPhone 6 Plus, is getting really intense this year, and Samsung had to go far and out to ensure that the Galaxy Note remains the king of phablets. We felt that comparing the Galaxy Note 4 to its esteemed predecessor might be the best way to see whether Samsung is up for this challenge. Let's take a look at those giants designs. We think you agree that the Galaxy Note 4 is a subtle refinement of the Samsung Galaxy Note 3's design. Its looks have become more aesthetically pleasing. Check out how the front panel has become more sporty and vibrant instead of being dull and flat. And look at how the aluminum frame is not merely something for the plastic to hold on to, but it's now an actual design detail, finely sculpted. For better or worse, the fake leather texture on the back panel stays in the Galaxy Note 4, although we think it looks classier now that the tacky fake stitching has been removed. The button placement remains unchanged. In both devices, the power key is positioned to the right, while the volume buttons are found on the left. The home button, positioned in the center of the bottom bezel, looks about the same, although the one in the Galaxy Note 4 houses a fingerprint reader as with the S5. It is accompanied by the multitasking capacitive key to the left and the back capacitive key to the right. And to the lower right, of course, you will find the Galaxy Note specialty, the S Pen slot. The S Pen stylus itself remains almost identical between the two devices, but the one in the Galaxy Note 4 is much easier to take out of its slot. It simply slides in and out, while the one in the Galaxy Note 3 required a much tighter grip and pull. Speaking of gripping and pulling, which phablet is easier to handle? Now that's pretty hard to say. The Note 4 is noticeably taller, slightly thicker and a bit heavier, but it's also a little narrower than its predecessor. These differences are tiny and don't account for a noticeable improvement or decline in ergonomics. And the sameness between built materials makes both phones feel equal in the hand. That is, large, solid and rectangular. We all know that these bad boys are all about their big displays, so let's see what they bring to the table. We love to say that with the Galaxy Note 4, Samsung's past mistakes with its Super AMOLED displays are forgiven. Putting the Galaxy Note 3's 5.7-inch 1080p display against that of the new Galaxy Note 4 shows how much Samsung improved its AMOLED technology in just a year. See, the Note 4's display has the same 5.7-inch diagonal, but its resolution has been bumped to Quad HD. This results in a higher pixel density of 515 pixels per inch, compared to the Galaxy Note 3's 386 pixels per inch. And thanks to that, the Galaxy Note 4's display appears distinctly sharper, with its individual pixels being impossible to spot with the naked eye from any distance. Now, the difference is not immediately apparent at first, because the Galaxy Note 3's display is still pretty sharp. But when the two phablets are put next to each other and viewed at a normal distance from the eye, say 16 inches, the predecessor screen seems a little bit blurry. The epic resolution bump aside, picture quality is a huge area of improvement. In terms of accurate colors, the Galaxy Note 4 is the first Samsung phone to really nail them. The Note 4's standard color temperature is a wildly impressive 6667 kelvins, which is a hair's distance from the reference level of 6500 kelvins. At this reference level, colors appear neither too cold and neither too warm. Just the way they should be. The Note 3, in comparison, verges deep into the realm of cold colors with its temperature of 7972 kelvins. Furthermore, the Galaxy Note 4 screen's color and grayscale errors are minimal, while the Note 3 has overblown colors and a greenish look that may wow somebody, but is totally inaccurate. Finally, let's have a look at how the two displays perform outdoors and indoors. Pleasant outdoor usage requires a bright display covered with high-quality, non-reflective glass. Although the Galaxy Note 3's display is reasonably well visible under direct sunlight, its maximum brightness level of 360 nits is surpassed by the 468 nits its successor is capable of producing. On the other end of the scale, bedtime reading requires a very low level of brightness to not strain your eyes. Thankfully, both phablets fare very well in this regard, as the Galaxy Note 3 gets down to 4 nits of luminance, while its successor can muster a terrific 1 nit. Okay, now let's talk about the user experience. Samsung's TouchWiz remains one of the most fully featured Android user experiences. The Galaxy Note 4 enjoys a few new additions over its predecessor, mostly centered around its eponymous S Pen. These are Smart Select, Capture and Share, which lets you capture and share different types of information such as text, images and links all at once by simply dragging the stylus across the content you want to catch. It gets automatically selected and stored in a container of sorts, of which you choose to take out the content you need and do what you want with it. Smart Select, linked to related apps, makes transferring information between open apps very easy. For example, drag a photo of a favorite location to an email, then drag its precise coordinates from Google Maps in the message body and send it. There is also Photo Note. It lets you create editable notes from photos of physically written text, say something on a piece of paper. Later, you can edit this text and include it in a message, for example. Additionally, the Galaxy Note 4 boasts fingerprint and heart rate sensors, and therefore tighter security and integration with the S Health app. As a whole, the revamped visual language and improved efficiency of the S Pen make the Galaxy Note 3, which is still a very capable phablet, seem a little dated in comparison. When it comes down to smartphone hardware, you know how it goes. It's always another year, another push towards smaller and more powerful chips. The Galaxy Note 4 takes on its predecessor with a faster processor, the Snapdragon 805. It's clocked at a wildly impressive 2.7 GHz and paired with a graphics unit that's estimated to be 40% more powerful than the previous generation. Memory-wise, the Note 4 has the same spacey 3GB of RAM, along with 32GB or 64GB of storage expandable with a microSD card. The added hardware beef, however, doesn't necessarily make the Galaxy Note 4 feel especially faster in daily usage scenarios like browsing and gaming, because powering the extremely sharp QHD display takes its toll on processing power. What about the Galaxy Note 3 though? Well, it still stands strong, showcasing the best of last year's flagship hardware. It runs on a quad-core Snapdragon 800 processor clocked at 2.3 GHz, paired with 3GB of RAM and 32 or 64GB of expandable flash storage. This hardware profile packs enough power to play recent games and allow the phablet to operate reasonably quickly. Now let's take a quick look at the phablet's connectivity. Different visual styling aside, the stock browser in the Galaxy Note 4 doesn't appear much different in terms of functionality over the Note 3. The app remains reasonably fast and unobtrusive and offers a neat tab manager that lets you sort through tabs much like you scroll through apps in the task manager. However, there isn't much of a functionality to particularly stand out here. Thanks to its cutting-edge chipset, the Galaxy Note 4 is ready to adopt the super fast LTE Advanced Category 6 standard, which allows a theoretical maximum speed of 300 megabits download and 50 megabits of uplink. There's also HSDPA+, 42.2 megabits support, along with HSUPA, Edge and even Asian GPRS networks. Its predecessor, the Galaxy Note 3, is left with LTE Category 4 with a theoretical downlink speed of 150 megabits and 50 megabits uplink. The network support is identical and both phablets have GPS and GLONASS navigation support. So far so good. We've gotten to the ever important photography department, and the Galaxy Note 4 received a substantial upgrade in the photography department over its predecessor in the form of a 16 megapixel camera sensor. Samsung opted for a 1/2.6 sensor with f2.2 lens aperture and 1.12 micron pixel size. All of this sounds very similar to the camera sensor found in the Galaxy S5. The Galaxy Note 3 on the other hand has a smaller 1/3.2 inch sensor, but as it is a 13 megapixel one, it comes with the same 1.12 micron sized pixels as the Note 4. This doesn't mean both phablets take the same quality photos though. That aside, the Galaxy Note 4 has an important new feature. It's called optical image stabilization, and it's the first time for Samsung. This is a technology which physically compensates for sudden camera movements such as shaky hands and jitter. The Galaxy Note 3 is left with a software image stabilization algorithm only. The Galaxy Note 4 has a better front camera too. It's a 3.7 megapixel unit, while the Galaxy Note 3 has a 2.1 megapixel unit. Thanks to its larger sensor, the former takes better, more detailed pictures and you look livelier in video chats. It comes as no surprise that the Galaxy Note 4 takes better photos than its predecessor. Photos from the 16 megapixel camera are bigger, sharper, better exposed and more detailed than the Galaxy Note 3's already impressive achievements in smartphone photography. One significant area of improvement is the color balance. Unlike the Galaxy Note 3, which went a little overboard with the blue hues and made for a cold, sanitary look to the photos, the Galaxy Note 4 dials up the warm red levels, making outdoor photos more natural and pleasant. Outdoors at night, the Galaxy Note 4 soaks in quite a bit more light than the Galaxy Note 3. This results in more visible and illuminated details at the expense of overexposure. Photos taken by the Galaxy Note 3 look decidedly darker and noisier in comparison. They are also much softer, while the Galaxy Note 4 retains fairly sharp detail, although some of it might get lost in the overexposed lighting. Low light photography has seen a big improvement in the new phablet, and by dialing down the exposure setting a notch, you will emerge with more usable night photos than ever before. Indoors, the phablets take relatively noise-free pictures even in low lighting, although the Galaxy Note 4 is prone to severely overdoing the red hues in such conditions. When the flash is used though, both phablets are on par in terms of lighting, with the Galaxy Note 4 providing sharp detail in contrast to the smoothness given by the Galaxy Note 3. The Galaxy Note 4's redesigned camera interface contributes additional speed points as well, because it's much more streamlined and less cluttered than that of its predecessor. Yet, despite that, it's more feature-rich as well. There's a new shooting mode called Rear Cam Selfie. It allows you to take a high-quality 16 megapixel selfie by letting the app determine the position where your face is, then automatically focus on your face and take the photo. Taking selfies an additional step further, the Note 4 boasts the selfie panorama mode, which is inspired by Ellen's selfie at the Oscars. No, it doesn't render fake Hollywood stars around you, it merely takes an extra wide selfie that fits all the faces around yours. Now, what about video quality? Both Galaxy Notes can shoot videos at a maximum 4K resolution. Thanks to the improved camera sensor, 4K video portrays even more precise detail than before, which the added optical image stabilization helps retain. The combination of 4K and OIS makes for a very compelling smartphone camera that even video enthusiasts should appreciate. However, due to the size and power constraints imposed by the demanding format, most of the time you will be shooting regular 1080p video at 60 frames per second. This is a task that both phablets execute equally well. There are no strikingly obvious improvements or degradations in image quality between the two. Now let's talk about multimedia. The Galaxy Note 4 offers a superior multimedia experience by virtue of its wonderful display. There is nothing like enjoying your photos and videos on a color-accurate, pin-sharp display. Qualities that the year-old Galaxy Note 3 sadly doesn't stand up to. Despite the revamped interface of the music and video apps, not much has changed with the Galaxy Note 4's players. Alas, the Galaxy Note 4's loudspeaker doesn't see much of an improvement over the Galaxy Note 3. While we measured it as being 9 decibels louder, the single mono speaker on the Note 4's back panel still sounds thin and lacking in warmth. Like the Note 3's, it still sounds clear and loud enough to be heard over room noise, but it's hardly good enough for playing music. Hopefully, the next Galaxy Note 5 will finally take a step in the realm of dual front-facing speakers. As for call quality, the Galaxy Note 4 offers a small improvement over its predecessor. While the Note 3 made your voice sound a tad robotic on the other side of the line, the Note 4 retains its natural qualities while projecting it pretty loud and clear. Voices coming from its earpiece are with good volume and sound natural as well. Things are pretty much on par with the Galaxy Note 3 here. Although they have markedly different hardware, both phablets are serviced by almost equal battery units. It's 3220 mAh for the Note 4 and 3200 mAh for the Note 3. According to our measurements, the Galaxy Note 3 offers 6 hours and 8 minutes of on-screen time. The Galaxy Note 4 bests that by managing 8 hours and 43 minutes in our battery test. Both phablets have removable back covers, so swapping an empty battery for a fresh unit is never a problem. So, now that we've had a good look at the Galaxy Note old and new, is Samsung up for the challenge this year? We'd say yes, because the Galaxy Note 4 rules. It is Samsung's best phablet ever, and it's a great comparing device on its own. If you're still rocking a first or second generation Galaxy Note, we feel that now is the perfect time to upgrade to the Galaxy Note 4. And if you own a Note 3, well, the Galaxy Note 4 has plenty of reasons why you should check it out. It has a much better screen, a design improvement, it's more enjoyable to use because TouchWiz has been heavily streamlined, it has some clever new S Pen features, and the camera takes excellent photos. This is Luis from PhoneArena, thanks for watching.